Hello, for this week we are doing the conservation of momentum. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and set up the rulers, the way instructions have us to do that. You're supposed to have them parallel with a little gap in between to create a runway. Alright, so for the first marble, we're supposed to flick one marble to see what the momentum will change for the rest of the marbles. So we will flick the one and one marble comes out. That's typically what happens when you only flick one marble. So go ahead and put that in the table below in your post-lab questions. Alright, so the next one, we are asked to put two marbles. Flick the two marbles. So we're going to flick both marbles and two comes out. That's the way it should be. Again, go ahead and put it back down into your table below. Alright, so the next one, we are going to be doing three marbles. So it's the same thing. We will be grabbing three of the marbles, starting them up at the top. Make sure that your two marbles are more towards the center because the last time didn't go all the way through. Alright, so you're going to flick three marbles and three marbles came out. So go ahead and put that in your chart below. To be honest with you, pretty much follows the way you would think. You flick three marbles come out. You flick four marbles come out. And that is the momentum for this lab experiment. So for the next table, if we're going to be filling out the tables, we will be doing the right and left side of the runway. So what we'll end up doing for that one is we will set it up to where we will have one marble in the middle, one on each side, if you can see that. Alright. So I believe they want the three in the middle. It doesn't really matter regardless. They're both going to stop, so if you flick them both at the same time, don't flick them quite that hard. Alright, let's try that again. Alright, so if you flick one, the first one says one on the right and one on the left. So if you flick one, you're going to flick them both, and the right side comes out. So go ahead and put that back down into your chart. I actually have done this once before, and I had the opposite reaction, so I think it's kind of a 50-50. So for the next one, you are going to put, let's see, one on the right side of the runway and two on the left. So similar to this, I'll make sure you guys can see this. Alright. So what you're going to do with this one is you're going to flick the two, and you got to make sure you have your one in the middle here. So you're going to flick both at the same time, and you have one coming out of the right side. Alright, and so you're going to continue on doing that for the rest of the experiment. Go ahead and put all of your answers into the tables below. That will help you out. When it comes to the post questions, quite a bit of the post questions were questions about, like, for example, what kind of collision is exhibited by the marbles in this experiment and why. Most of these collisions are going to be elastic, as the marbles are rigid and they completely transfer their momentum from one marble to the other. So, for example, this is just an example of that post question. So if you flick one marble from one end to the other, make sure that you guys can see this. Back up a little bit. This is exactly what that question is asking. So if you flick this marble, the momentum will change into this marble, and that marble most likely will slow down or stop. That really is what the question is asking, and that is an elastic collision. So for the next question, really, when one marble hits the end of the marble line, how many are shot off at the end? Typically, the amount of marbles that you shoot off or you flicked, that is how many would be bouncing off of the middle lineup. I had a few times where that was not the case, just because I flicked the marbles too hard or the marbles fell all over the floor. So that could be a margin of error within this lab experiment. It is really hard to find a table that's absolutely level, so that was another issue and an error that could be had within this experiment. So go ahead and finish up your tables, and other than that, that is momentum for this week. Thank you guys. Have a great rest of your weekend.